Okay? I'm not going to stay in the market. We've seen too many markets. Have you seen this news? Well, it's not even news. It's a news story. Anti-Semitism in Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party. It's a fabricated story. It's a Kafkaesque story that it's just a rubbish story. But this is what the ruling elite put everyone through. And it gives the impression that the Jews are a race. In other words, that the people that print the money and hold the financial institutions are actually genetically different. That's the illusion that we all have to live under. And so I just want to move on and consider how long have the Jews been in control? And they're just a gang, okay? I don't go into the bloodlines are different. I mean, they believe in keeping the money in the bloodlines. They don't believe in redistributing the wealth evenly. So to that extent, the bloodlines are significant. But really, there's a lot of evidence that the Jews were behind the slave trade from Africa to America. What I'm getting at is, for how long have the Jews been monopolizing what Europeans do? And it's a very long time. We know the Balfour Declaration was 100 years ago. Obviously, the British only did that because they had to. And they addressed the letter to Rothschild. And there were Rothschild banks in those days, giving Palestine to them. And nothing has changed. It's not only the Europeans. We're really seeing a Zionist takeover of Russia, not to mention the rest of the world. But the Russians have resisted far better and far more than the Europeans against Jewish control. But at this time, they're looking pretty weak. There are a lot of Jewish oligarchs. It's not as bad as it was under Yeltsin, but they've got to toe the line. And it means that we've got to have this insipid, incessant news stories about anti-Semitism and such like, which are just fabricated stories. And, you fill people up with rubbish stories and they're not fit to do much. Walk down here. Hello, hello. The odd thing is, the Chinese are called the Jews of Asia, and they do run the economies. I'm talking about before the recent rise of China. You go into any gold market, and it's always Chinese merchants, and that just goes for every country in Southeast Asia. They're kind of unashamedly materialistic. And they're gamblers. But it raises the question, how much Jewish control is there in China? How tight are they? They're really tight. They're really tight. They've got a hotline between them. And they're both big on gambling. In America, you've got Adelson in Las Vegas. He's basically supported Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister. And he's got a direct line to all of them. And gambling money, money laundering is putting these people in power. But in China, you've got the island of Macau, which is the same story. It's all gambling money, and they've got a direct line to Peking, to the government. And you've got Las Vegas casinos in Macau. So you start to see the connection. You can start to connect the dots. And it's pretty much a joint takeover of the world. Trump is a Zionist all the way. He is Israel first, and his job is just to sink America. That's all I can see. He's pushing everybody to Russia and China. So now you've got, what have you got? You got Duterte in Israel. I guess he's buying weapons, but nothing else. Israel's been there all along. He had key important meetings, like with the Chinese ambassador and people, before he got elected, but there was an Israeli ambassador present in the meeting. So no one can turn their backs on Israel, not in the political world. But all these countries are just being monetized, and people are being enslaved into the fiat money system. I just think Europe's the big loser in all this. I don't know how it's got the wealth it has, but it's certainly in decline. Hello? And in the midst of all this, you've got the absolute atrocious atrocities being committed on the Palestinians. I think the Trump admin has just dropped its concern for the right of return. That's all the Palestinians that were kicked out of Palestine, facing a gun in 1948 and forward. They want to go back to their family homes. Well, the Trump administration won't even listen to it. Well, that's it, really. I've got to find my moto. Just a quick walk around. It's pretty muddy here. I hope some of you can help with a donation. It's not looking too good, but sometimes I get lucky. Please send something along. Meat, plastic. I'm going to get back. Next video will be with a tripod, and I'll do my political analysis. You've had yesterday and today a kind of travelogue. There are people complaining about everything, and really, ask yourself what the Jews control, and you got the IMF, the World Trade Organization, the World Bank, the Fed, the Wall Street, all the security companies, all the telecoms companies. The Intel chief says he's as much an Israeli company as an American company. They've done a total takeover.